Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, where hidden treasures meet real collector value. Today, we're diving into a fascinating lineup of wheat pennies in dirty condition, coins that many people might overlook at first glance, but in reality, could still hold surprising value for collectors and enthusiasts. Even in worn or dirty condition, these coins carry rich history from the post-World War II era, when the United States economy was transitioning and millions of Lincoln cents were minted for everyday circulation. In this video, we'll explore what makes each of these wheat pennies unique, how to identify key features, what collectors look for even in lower-grade coins, and whether any of these could still be worth more than face value. From mint marks to possible errors and overall demand in the coin collecting market, we'll break it all down in a simple and engaging way. Let's get started. 1950 D Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1950 D Wheat Penny is a notable issue from the Denver Mint, produced during the early 1950s when wheat pennies were still actively circulating in the United States. By 1950, the economy had stabilized further, and pennies continued to play a crucial role in everyday commerce. The 1950 D penny was widely distributed, and many examples were used extensively, resulting in a large number of surviving coins in dirty and heavily worn condition. The D mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which was responsible for producing a significant portion of U.S. coinage during this period. The mint mark appears on the obverse side below the date. In dirty condition, the mint mark may be partially filled with dirt or worn down, but it remains an important identifier for collectors distinguishing between mint locations. The design of the 1950 D Wheat Penny is consistent with the classic Lincoln cent design. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces right, with "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1950 to the right, followed by the D mint mark below. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears design, with two wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent, along with United States of America and E pluribus unum. In dirty condition, the 1950 D Wheat Penny often shows significant wear from circulation. The surface may appear dark brown or nearly black due to oxidation and long-term exposure to environmental elements. Dirt and residue can accumulate in recessed areas, reducing the visibility of fine details. Lincoln's facial features, hair, and the wheat lines may appear softened or flattened due to extended use. Even with these conditions, the coin remains recognizable and collectible. Many collectors value coins in original circulated condition, especially those that have not been cleaned or altered. Dirty coins preserve their authenticity and provide insight into their circulation history. The mintage of the 1950 D Wheat Penny was relatively high, as the Denver Mint produced large quantities of pennies to meet demand. As a result, the coin is considered common in circulated grades. Dirty examples are frequently encountered and typically have low market value, often near face value unless the coin has better than average detail or attractive natural toning. However, certain factors can enhance the appeal of a 1950 D Wheat Penny. Coins with stronger strikes, clearer details, or less wear may be more desirable to collectors. Additionally, error varieties such as repunched mint marks, die cracks, die chips, and minor doubling can increase interest. Even in dirty condition, these features can sometimes be observed if they are prominent enough. Collector interest in the 1950 D Wheat Penny remains consistent due to its inclusion in wheat cent collections and its representation of early 1950s coinage. Collectors building complete sets by date and mint mark require this coin, making it an essential component despite its common nature. It also represents a period of continued economic growth in the United States, when pennies were widely used in everyday transactions. In dirty condition, the 1950 D Wheat Penny may not appear visually impressive, but it still carries numismatic significance. Its worn surfaces reflect years of circulation, and its presence in collections helps complete the historical timeline of wheat pennies. For many collectors, even a heavily circulated example provides value in terms of completeness, authenticity, and historical connection. 1956 Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1956 Wheat Penny is one of the later issues of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series, produced just a few years before the design was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. By 1956, the United States was experiencing strong economic growth, and pennies were heavily used in everyday transactions across the country. Because of this widespread circulation, many 1956 wheat pennies surviving today are found in dirty and heavily worn condition, showing signs of long-term use, environmental exposure, and accumulated grime. This coin represents the final phase of the wheat penny era, making it historically significant even though it is not rare in terms of mintage. Collectors value it as part of the complete wheat cent series, which spans from 1909 to 1958. The 1956 issue reflects the transition period of American coinage, when the nation was moving toward modernization while still using classic designs that had been in place for decades. The design of the 1956 wheat penny follows the standard Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait is prominently displayed. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1956, to the right. If present, the mint mark appears below the date, indicating whether the coin was struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. On the reverse, the iconic wheat ears design features two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent. Surrounding the central design are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum." This reverse design remained unchanged from 1909 until 1958 and is one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coin history, symbolizing agricultural heritage and national identity. In dirty condition, the 1956 wheat penny typically shows significant surface wear and dark toning. The original copper luster is usually no longer visible, replaced by shades of brown, deep chocolate, or even black due to oxidation and prolonged circulation. Dirt and debris often accumulate in the recessed areas of the coin, particularly around Lincoln's facial features, hair, and the wheat lines on the reverse. These elements may appear softened or partially obscured, depending on the degree of wear. Despite its worn appearance, the coin remains identifiable, and the main design elements are still visible. Many collectors appreciate dirty, circulated coins because they retain their original surfaces and have not been artificially cleaned or altered. In numismatics, originality is an important factor, and coins that have naturally aged through circulation are often preferred over those that have been tampered with. The mintage of the 1956 wheat penny was quite large, as the U.S. Mint produced millions of coins to support everyday commerce. Both Philadelphia and Denver Mint issues contributed to the total supply. Because of this high mintage, the coin is considered common in circulated grades, including dirty examples. Most heavily worn 1956 pennies have low market value, typically close to face value or only slightly above it, depending on condition, mint mark, and eye appeal. However, certain factors can increase interest in specific examples. Coins with clearer details, stronger strikes, or more attractive natural toning may appeal more to collectors. Mint mark variations, particularly the 1956 D and 1956 S, can also be included in specialized collecting sets. Collectors who focus on building complete wheat cent collections require this date, making it an essential piece despite its abundance. Error coins and varieties add another dimension of collector interest to the 1956 wheat penny. Known errors include repunched mint marks, die cracks, die chips, die clashes, and minor doubling. While many of these errors are subtle, they can sometimes be observed even on dirty coins if the underlying anomaly is strong enough. Advanced collectors often use magnification to identify these features, as they can increase the coin's desirability beyond its typical circulated value. Collector interest in the 1956 wheat penny is driven primarily by its role in completing wheat cent sets and its historical placement near the end of the series. As one of the final issues before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, it represents the closing chapter of a long-standing design that had been in use for nearly 50 years. Many collectors seek to include it in date runs or mint mark collections, making it a necessary and widely recognized coin. In dirty condition, the 1956 wheat penny may not appear visually impressive at first glance, but it still holds significance in the world of numismatics. Its worn surfaces reflect decades of circulation, capturing a piece of everyday American life during the mid-20th century. Each scratch, mark, and layer of toning tells part of its journey through time, adding authenticity and historical depth. For collectors, even a heavily circulated 1956 wheat penny contributes to the completeness of a collection. It serves as both a historical artifact and a representation of the final years of the wheat cent era. While its market value in dirty condition is generally modest, its importance within a broader collection remains strong. Overall, the 1956 wheat penny in dirty condition demonstrates that even common coins can carry meaning beyond their face value. Its design, history, and role in U.S. coinage make it a meaningful addition to any wheat penny collection, reminding collectors that every coin has a story worth preserving. 1946 wheat penny coin dirty condition. The 1946 wheat penny is a classic example of a post-war Lincoln cent that reflects the economic recovery period following World War II. After the war ended in 1945, the United States returned to peacetime production, and coinage resumed at full capacity to support a growing economy. The 1946 penny was among the early issues produced in this new era, and it quickly entered circulation across the country, where it remained in use for decades. Because of its widespread circulation, many 1946 wheat pennies today are found in dirty and heavily worn condition. These coins often spent years moving through daily transactions, accumulating dirt, scratches, and environmental effects that contribute to their aged appearance. Despite this, the coin retains strong historical relevance as part of the immediate post-war coinage series. The design of the 1946 wheat penny follows the familiar Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces to the right, symbolizing one of America's most respected historical figures. Above his head is the inscription, "In God We Trust," while Liberty appears on the left side. The date, 1946, is positioned on the right, and any mint mark, if present, appears below the date. The reverse side features the iconic wheat ears design, with two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent. Surrounding this central design are the inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. This reverse design was used from 1909 until 1958 and is one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coin history. In dirty condition, the 1946 wheat penny often shows significant surface wear. The original copper luster is usually no longer visible, replaced by darker brown, chocolate, or even blackened tones caused by oxidation over time. Dirt and debris can settle into recessed areas of the design, especially around Lincoln's hair, facial features, and the wheat lines on the reverse. While this reduces the visual sharpness of the coin, it does not eliminate its collectible value. The mintage of the 1946 wheat penny was quite large, as the U.S. Mint produced millions of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. Because of this high production, the coin is considered common in circulated grades. Dirty examples are frequently encountered in coin jars, rolls, and estate collections. As a result, their market value in heavily worn condition is generally modest, often close to face value or only slightly above it. However, collector interest in the 1946 wheat penny remains steady due to its historical placement and role in wheat cent collections. Many collectors seek to build complete date sets of Lincoln wheat pennies, and the 1946 issue is an essential part of that sequence. Even in dirty condition, it helps complete a historical timeline of U.S. coinage. Error coins and varieties can add additional value to certain 1946 wheat pennies. These may include repunched mint marks, die cracks, die breaks, and minor striking anomalies. While these errors may not always be dramatic, they can sometimes be detected even on worn coins. Collectors who specialize in varieties often examine coins under magnification to identify subtle differences that are not visible to the naked eye. Overall, the 1946 wheat penny in dirty condition represents a meaningful piece of post-war American history. It reflects the transition from wartime production to peacetime stability and the continued use of the wheat cent in everyday commerce. While it may not be rare in circulation, its historical significance and role in coin collecting make it a valuable addition to to any wheat penny collection. 1948 Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1948 wheat penny is another important post-war Lincoln cent that continues the story of American coinage in the late 1940s. By this time, the United States had fully transitioned into a period of economic growth and stability, and pennies were produced in large quantities to support everyday transactions. The 1948 penny circulated widely across the country, which is why many surviving examples today are found in dirty, worn condition. Like the 1946 issue, the 1948 wheat penny was heavily used in circulation, often passing through countless hands over the decades. As a result, many of these coins exhibit significant surface wear, loss of detail, and dark toning caused by environmental exposure. Despite their worn appearance, they remain an important part of the wheat cent series and are widely collected by numismatists. The design of the 1948 wheat penny is identical to other Lincoln cents of the wheat series. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1948, to the right. If the coin has a mint mark, it appears below the date, indicating whether it was minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. The reverse displays the familiar wheat ears design, with two wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" are also present. This design remained unchanged for decades and is a hallmark of early 20th century U.S. coinage. In dirty condition, the 1948 wheat penny typically shows heavy circulation wear. The coin's surface may appear dull and darkened, with little to no original luster remaining. Dirt and debris often accumulate in recessed areas, making certain design elements less distinct. Lincoln's facial features, hair details, and the wheat lines on the reverse may be softened or partially obscured due to wear. Despite this, the coin's fundamental design remains recognizable, and collectors can still identify its date, mint mark, and overall type. The dirty appearance does not necessarily reduce its significance, especially for collectors who value originality and historical authenticity over visual perfection. The mintage of the 1948 wheat penny was substantial, as the U.S. Mint continued producing large quantities of coins to meet post-war demand. This high mintage means that the coin is relatively common in circulated condition, including dirty examples. As a result, its market value in heavily worn condition is typically low, often close to face value unless the coin has better than average eye appeal or specific collectible features. However, certain mint marks and varieties can influence collector interest. The 1948 D and 1948 S issues may be slightly more desirable in specific collecting contexts, especially when assembling complete wheat cent sets by mint mark. In addition, error varieties such as repunched mint marks, die cracks, and minor doubling can add collectible appeal. Even in dirty condition, these anomalies can sometimes be detected with careful inspection. Collector interest in the 1948 wheat penny is primarily driven by its inclusion in wheat cent collections and its representation of late 1940s U.S. coinage. Many collectors seek to complete full-date runs, making the 1948 penny an essential piece. It also serves as a historical artifact from a time when the United States was experiencing growth in industry, population, and consumer activity. In dirty condition, the 1948 wheat penny may not stand out visually, but it still carries numismatic value due to its historical context and widespread availability. It represents everyday American life in the late 1940s and remains a tangible link to that era. For collectors, even a worn example contributes to the completeness and authenticity of a wheat penny collection. A 1949 wheat penny coin dirty condition. The 1949 wheat penny is another important post-war Lincoln cent that reflects the continued stability and growth of the United States economy in the late 1940s. By 1949, coin production was operating at full capacity again, and pennies were widely used in everyday commerce. As a result, the 1949 wheat penny circulated extensively across the country, which explains why many surviving examples today are found in dirty and heavily worn condition. These coins often carry visible signs of long-term circulation, including surface wear, dark toning, and accumulated grime. This coin belongs to the final decade of the Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. While the 1949 issue is not considered rare in terms of mintage, it still plays an important role in completing wheat penny collections. For collectors, it represents a snapshot of American coinage during a period of post-war economic expansion and everyday monetary activity. The design of the 1949 wheat penny follows the classic Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces right. Above his head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust," while Liberty is positioned to the left. The date, 1949, is placed to the right of the portrait, and any mint mark, if present, appears below the date. Coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a D, and San Francisco coins carry an S. On the reverse side, the familiar wheat ears design is present, featuring two wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum surround the central design. This reverse remained unchanged for decades and is one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. In dirty condition, the 1949 wheat penny typically exhibits heavy wear from years of circulation. The original copper luster is usually absent, replaced by darker brown or nearly black tones caused by oxidation and environmental exposure. Dirt and residue often settle into recessed areas of the coin, particularly around Lincoln's hair, facial details, and the wheat lines on the reverse. These elements may appear softened or partially obscured due to prolonged use. Despite its worn appearance, the coin remains identifiable and retains its historical character. Collectors often appreciate such coins for their originality, as they have not been cleaned or altered. Dirty coins preserve their natural surfaces, which is an important factor in numismatics, where originality is often preferred over artificial restoration. The mintage of the 1949 wheat penny was substantial, with large numbers produced across multiple mints to meet public demand. Because of this high mintage, the coin is common in circulated grades, including dirty examples. Most heavily worn 1949 pennies have low market value, typically close to face value or slightly above, depending on mint mark, eye appeal, and preservation of detail. However, certain variations and mint marks can influence collector interest. The 1949 D and 1949 S coins may carry slightly different levels of demand among collectors assembling complete wheat cent sets by mint mark. Additionally, error coins such as repunched mint marks, die cracks, die clashes, and minor doubling can increase desirability. Even in dirty condition, these errors can sometimes be identified if they are strong enough to be visible through wear. Collector interest in the 1949 wheat penny is steady due to its role in completing date sequences and wheat cent collections. It is a common coin, but its presence is necessary for those building full sets from 1909 to 1958. The coin also represents a time of economic growth in the United States, when coin circulation was heavy and pennies were an essential part of daily transactions. In dirty condition, the 1949 wheat penny may not stand out visually, but it still holds value as a historical artifact. Its worn surfaces tell the story of long-term circulation, reflecting the everyday use of currency in mid-20th century America. For collectors, even a heavily circulated example contributes to the completeness of a collection and provides a tangible connection to the past.